Coming to you live from the Twisted Rivers east of Springfield. Welcome to the Dr. Kitsune Odd Bob Uncanny Coffee Hour.
Always respectful with a touch of impish irreverence. We tell stories with wit and wisdom, encouraging a strong look at indigenous
the often forgotten, beautiful voiceover assistant who can assume any form, speak in any voice, and brew a mad pot of tea, all while knackered off my arse.
Brought to you this week by Dr. Kitsune's fancy flavored mouth sticks, 1,000,001 uses. Have you ever liberated a small farm animal and gotten the tiny pieces stuck into your teeth? Stop using the bones of your enemies. Try Dr. Kitsune's fancy flavored mouth sticks for all of your toothpicking needs. Tastes great.
I had a baby.
Get some. Content warning. This episode discusses assaults, including some with implied sexual elements, which some listeners may find disturbing.
Saoirse, I finally found you. My little one, I finally found you. What's that music I hear? You best not be working in a jazz bar smoking the devil's lettuce with those shifty musicians. It's coming from that cabin. Let's have a sticky beak then.
Duh. What are you doing here? How did you even...
Don't da me, young one. Running off in the middle of the twilight shift? I've been searching the hedgerows and the hollow hills for you since the moon turned. Is this some new form of mortal enchantment? Are you luring souls into your web with these sonic trinkets?
It's not like that, Duh. These are friends. We're just telling stories.
Stories? You have ancient lore passed down through generations.
Step over here so we don't ruin the podcast.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Okay. What's wrong with your hair?
Nothing.
I didn't think
What's wrong with your hair?
It's getting a little too long. I feel like a hippie right now. What are they on about over there?
Who are these two anyway? They're obviously not here.
I like the old chap.
I don't like the look of that one. At all. Trickers,
Yeah,
they
he
are.
seems decent. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
I have my hair done up in a perfect way for our episode.
Oh, yeah, you're scaring me.
Yeah, this is an episode on Yurei. Ghosts.
Ghosts.
Spirits.
Go.
Specifically revenge-seeking spirits.
Oh. Okay.
So, maybe we should ask
Myself, Duh.
our friend
And
a little
sometimes
later after
myself
she's done over there.
Wants to
Excuse
talk about
me,
uncanny things with...
we've got a show we're trying to put on.
You can quiet down.
Down by the whispering
Thank you.
Sorry.
Here,
travelers.
have a drink.
Not gallivanting about with these.
Both of you, have a drink.
Please don't spill it on my stuff this
Thank
time.
you. You boys be treating her right.
Yes, sir. Yes,
See
sir.
that? They're all right for their kind.
Okay, so...
Thank you, Saoirse.
I'm legend.
Thanks, Saoirse.
No, really. I am legend.
What are you drinking today, to go with the theme of the show?
I am drinking a Gypsy Caravan dark smoked tea.
Ooh.
It's a pure tea.
Or should I say,
P-U-R.
ooh.
I'm not sure if gypsies actually drank it, or should we say Roma actually drank this tea, or travelers. Is that better? Travelers actually drank this tea. But it is very tasty, very heavily smoked, and a wonderful selection for this episode.
Sounds nice.
What are you drinking?
Well, I'm drinking something very unique here. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm having an espresso with hemp milk.
What the? How do you milk a hemp?
That's right, sir. Hemp milk. I don't know how they milk it.
It's delicious.
To each their own.
You can roll your eyes all you want.
And it pairs perfect with this episode.
I imagine it is. Was that goat milk I saw you drinking earlier?
No, I won't drink goat milk. No.
Well, I saw it on the box.
No. I don't drink goat milk. I'll drink oat milk.
Oh, I thought you just covered up the G with your hand.
Oat milk, almond milk, hemp
I'm
milk,
driven mad with it.
flaxseed,
Hippie.
draining.
It's enough to put you astray.
You ever hear of a guy named Frederick da Vinci? Federico da Vinci.
No.
He was Leonardo's older brother.
Yeah.
It's said that Federico was even more of a genius than Leonardo was.
Uh-huh.
But the people of Vinci, they caught him one day f***ing a goat.
Oh, Jesus.
And ever since then, he's been known as Frederick the Goat Fucker.
Censored.
You just f*** one goat in your life, and your entire life's work goes down the drain.
Suddenly everybody's just calling you a goat.
Beep.
That's right.
Okay.
We are talking about spirits today.
Yes.
Yurei, or ghosts.
Yes.
There are many definitions from many different cultures, but it's kind of an archetypal belief around the world, regardless of religion, that there are spirits or ghosts or some sort of afterlife hauntings.
Yeah.
And this goes pre-Abrahamic religions. Every culture around the world has some sort of ghost story.
Yeah.
So what we're going to share today is some personal stories that we've heard,
Yeah.
or that we've experienced,
And some of our friends have recorded for us, kindly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jeremiah is going to come over a little later and tell
Yep.
us a story.
Yep.
And who knows, maybe we will interview someone a little later this week also.
Yeah, that'd be great. I know that there's a lot of ghost stories out there. So if anybody listening to this wants to contribute, we'll have more than one episode on this.
Oh, definitely.
Just write into us, uncannycoffeepodcast.com, or hit us up if you know us personally.
So, Saoirse, dear,
Beer?
I was wondering if you would please tell us about your knowledge of Yurei, or Japanese ghosts.
Okay then. Hey, Dad. Look what I can do.
These Yurei, they carry their stories so visibly. The white robes, the trailing hair, it's a language of loss, unlike the sea, who often cloak themselves in glamour and illusion. And this clinging to specific places, the jibakurei, it speaks of a deep connection to the land, even in death. It makes one wonder what unfinished business holds them so tightly. Perhaps a bargain broken, a love unrequited. Tales we understand well enough, across any world. Sometimes they are accompanied by hitodama, will-o'-the-wisps. There are various types of yurei, including onryo, vengeful ghosts seeking retribution. Ubume, ghosts of mothers who died in childbirth, returning to care for their children. Funa yurei, ghosts of those who died at sea. Zashiki warashi, child spirits that can bring good fortune. Jibakurei, ghosts tied to a specific location. Like ink bleeding into white silk, these yurei, that dark, tangled hair against the pale cloth, a stark image of sorrow. Like a sigh on the wind.
Uncanny coffee.
Welcome back. Here we are, and we're going to start off right away just talking about some personal ghost stories, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. You've got the creepy vibe going.
So, you got a picture. Back in the day, when I was a district ranger for the U.S. Forest Service, I've talked about these days quite a bit. I was living in a small town in southern Oregon, and my son had just been born. He was weeks old. Mm-hmm. And I was originally living in a teepee, so that I gave up the ranger house so that the firefighters I hired for the season would have a place to live. Uh-huh. And I lived out in the teepee.
Did you give it up, or did they kick you out?
No, I gave it up.
Okay.
I hired more people than our compound could hold. Uh-huh. And I felt that there's no way I would sleep comfortable in a bed while my firefighters were looking for a place to sleep.
Because that's the type of guy you are.
You'd think. So anyway, there I was. The firefighters had moved out. I had not resumed my occupancy inside the ranger house. Mm-hmm. And my wife was going to come down to visit with our new son, Niwa. Mm-hmm. and I needed a place to stay. So the person in charge of all of the housing on the compound, she said, well, you stay in the bunkhouse where the old firefighters used to stay. Well, earlier in the year, the firefighters came to me and asked me to smudge the bunkhouse because they were seeing apparitions in there, and they were frightened. They were going to move out into tents around my teepee.
Tell them to do it themselves.
I did actually tell them to do it themselves,
Yeah.
and they asked me to please walk through and smudge the place, and so I did. I felt that was kind of a good rangerly thing to do, but I'm not sure any other forest rangers would do that. So anyway, I went and smudged the place, and it did have kind of a creepy vibe, but I didn't think too much about it. So for the weekend and for the week, my wife was going to come down and stay with me on the compound. So we moved into the old bunkhouse, and it had Wi-Fi. She sets up her little office so that she can do a little bit of work while she's there. And we set up the crib for my son, and I went to work. I came back from work. It was really nice. We were getting ready to go to bed, laid down, turned all the lights off. We had the wood stove on. It was still kind of cool out.
Mm-hmm.
And
That sounds very pleasant.
it was really nice.
Yeah.
We were all sleeping in the living room where the wood stove was. And I'd say about 2 or 3 in the morning, I woke up, just felt this kind of presence. And I looked over, and there was a dark shape, almost like smoke, wearing a full neck-to-foot dress. Kind of an older type dress, not modern style.
Uh-huh.
And she was leaning over the crib and reaching in for my son. And
That's not good.
No, it wasn't good. I actually jumped up because it was solid enough that I thought it was a person. I jumped up and actually started throwing fists.
Yeah.
And tried to grab, but I ended up running into the crib. There was nothing there. And Denise says, "What the
Censored.
fuck?" to me. And she gets up. She says, "What's going on?" And I said, "Did you see anything?" And she said, "Yeah, I saw something like a dark shape move across the ceiling." I told her what I saw.
So you saw the shape by the crib. She saw it moving across the ceiling.
After I woke it up.
Yeah.
Woke her up.
Yeah.
Woke it up. Sorry.
Yeah.
And she reached in. Baby was crying. She reached in and grabbed Niwa. And he slept between us for the rest of the night. I actually didn't sleep for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
She was a little upset, but not overly upset, because we have very rational minds.
Right.
And we try to say, well, we were tired, it was a long drive to get down there. We had to get the house ready. We had to clean the house a little bit before we...
Right, so
Yeah.
you're thinking I had some sort of a chemical imbalance in my brain or something.
Yeah,
like that.
we're rationalizing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's what you do. You rationalize.
Sure.
Well, that night, we were going to sleep again. We were still a little uneasy. And we're going to sleep again. And I am in that liminal space, that space between being awake and being asleep.
Yeah, like where we record this.
Exactly.
One must tread carefully in such places. They are betwixt and between, belonging fully to neither world.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm in that space, and I hear voices, a conversation, and it's coming from the basement. And I don't know why the basement always has to be the place where the creepiest things always happen.
Except my basement. My basement's chill, except there's all those spiders down there. They have like a spider dance party. We can talk about that another time. Sorry, I'm ruining the mood here.
The arachnid disco.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So I actually wrench myself out of this sleep, and I go over and I put my hand on the basement door, everything in my mind is screaming, don't open the door. Don't open the door. I'm that guy in the horror movie that's the first one that gets killed. I'm not the guy that gets killed while he's having sex with the hot babe in the horror movie. I'm the guy that opens the door and gets dragged down the steps and then entrapped in some sort of demon clutches or something. Anyway,
or a spider disco.
Or spider disco. So I open the door and I look down there. And it's dark. And I turn on the 30-watt light bulb, because everybody puts a 30-watt light bulb in their basement so that it doesn't even light up the corners. And I sit on the steps and I lean against the wall. I don't hear anything. And it's cold down there. Of course it's cold down there. It's a basement. So I get up and I close the door. I lock the door. Because, a lock, that's going to keep a ghost out, right? Anyway, I lay down again.
Doesn't work on Saoirse.
No, I know.
Merely a suggestion, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, next time knock before you come in the bathroom, and you won't have to see it. All right?
He had his lad out.
Anyway.
His lad in his hand.
So I go lay down, and I'm in that space.
That was your bad.
I'm in that space between sleep again, and the voices start up again. And it's arguing. And this time, I'm not going to get up and check the basement. I just concentrate and try to listen to the voices. And the voices are arguing, and there's a younger voice and two older voices, and the younger voice is saying, no, I'm not going to do it. No, it's wrong. And then I hear a smack, like someone's getting hit. And they're all male voices. And then I hear the female voice, and she's saying, please don't. Please don't. And it doesn't stop there. I hear every detail as they brutalize this person. And then I hear gagging, choking, and crying. I can't sleep. It pulls me full out of my sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm very disturbed. And Denise is still sleeping. The baby's still sleeping. And I just sat there in the dark, and I waited for morning to come. So I wish it ended there. I went to work, woke Denise up, and left for work. It was only like 100 yards across the compound to my office. Mm-hmm. So I walked to work. And when I got there, I asked some of the old timers, how long has that house been there? And, was there anything there before? And they said, yeah, this Forest Service compound was where all the Forest Service people lived back in the heyday of logging. And that across the road was where all the loggers lived. That was the loggers' camp. And that camp had as many as 300 people in it. Mm-hmm. And I asked, has anybody ever gone missing or anything ever happened up here that was bad? And they said, why? And I said, just humor me. And they said, well, yeah, there were some bad things that happened up here. There were a couple of disappearances, and there were a couple of murders. But the disappearances were probably the worst thing that happened. They were a couple of young teenage girls that disappeared. And then there was the murder of two loggers and their younger teenage brother. And so I just put two and two together. The brothers, I think, hurt this woman and
right.
killed her. Probably
right.
hurt another woman and killed her.
Right.
I think the younger brother was arguing against it. Mm-hmm. And I think they beat him up. But I think the other loggers found out about it. Yeah. And and buried them. I'm pretty sure that the Yurei, or the unsettled spirit of the woman, was the woman they hurt. Mm-hmm. or the teenage woman that did her.
Yeah.
Anyway, my little week with my wife and child, she left that night. She said, I'm not staying here another day.
I don't blame her.
And I moved back into the teepee. And I had to drive home every weekend after that. She didn't come down and spend the week with me anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's a heavy story.
Yeah.
But that's where a lot of ghosts come from, I think. A lot of spirits are unresolved.
So, in my mind's eye, I can still see this woman's face.
Yeah.
She turned and looked at me before I jumped up. And I can still see her face.
Do you think it's the same woman or two different spirits?
I don't know. I never looked at any records or any microfiche to see if I could find any pictures or of anything. I just took them for their word, the old timers that told me the story, and I really didn't bother going in that house again. I got a job with NOAA Fisheries shortly after that, and never had a need to move back into the ranger house or any of the bunkhouses. I lived in the teepee until I left.
Did you see ghost fish at NOAA?
Oh, the bodies, the dead bodies, and the blank stare.
The horror.
Like a doll's eyes.
Horror.
No, never saw ghost fish there.
Thanks for sharing that story.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Ooh, another voice for the shadows. Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
The more tellers we have, the richer the tapestry of the uncanny becomes. Let's see what tales this newcomer brings.
Do you want any coffee or tea?
Perhaps they have
I got
glimpsed
coffee.
corners
There you
of
go.
reality even I haven't explored in all me forms.
Would you like to introduce yourself? We have a special guest with us today.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you all. I'm Jeremiah.
Let your words weave their own magic here.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
I'd give you my...
I know.
Years.
Maybe this isn't Jeremiah, but do you hum with the true song of the living, or just a borrowed tune?
Now, this is Jeremiah. He was
Agents.
a student of mine back in high school, and he is like a nephew to me. He lives out at...
Hold up. In high school. So you were a teacher in high school?
No, I was the director of Indian education for the Springfield Public School District.
Okay, cool. Now it makes sense. Because at first I was like, wait, you're in high school and he's in high school?
No.
Okay. All right.
He's one of my first students.
You got to dumb it down for me sometimes.
So there I was, freshman year.
We won't tell those stories. Right. But you do have a story for us, don't you?
Yes, I do. So, all right. So after high school, I joined the Marine Corps. And, of course, before you go to deployment, you go to 29 Palms, California, or where have you, to do train-ups.
Okay.
So there I was, and Combat Logistics Battalion 8. So we're in old officer housing. I'm talking the walls are gone. It's the studs and the
Quonset
roofs.
hut sort of thing?
It's like World War II officer housing.
Oh.
So it's condemned, and since then, everything's been torn out.
Held
The
together by
copper wire.
roaches.
Yeah, roaches and 2x4s, right?
Yeah, okay.
So we're in there,
Uh-huh.
and it's chow time. Everybody's got to go to the chow hall. I'm the armorer, so I can't leave. I have to stay here and watch the weapons. There has to be one person in each house.
Right.
So, because we got to take breaks between our sim games. So everybody's at chow.
Is that like your computer games? You guys playing The Sims?
No. Simulation. Shooting each other with small paintballs.
I saw Heartbreak Ridge. I know what it's like. Yeah.
So there we were. Everybody was gone. I'm listening to Green Day.
Okay.
And
Great.
all of a sudden...
Fantastic band.
Oh,
Welcome
yeah. Oh,
on
yeah.
to the podcast anytime.
Oh, yeah. This is the stuff that I was listening to when I first joined. So every time I hear Green Day, it reminds me of like 2004-ish.
Yeah.
So everybody's gone. When they come back, I'll get to go to chow. There's nobody around. I'm listening to music. I'm cleaning weapons. And all of a sudden, the music stops. We're getting ready to leave the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So this little girl's voice comes out and says,
Please, don't go.
and as soon as I heard that, every hair on my body stood up. I flip back in my chair.
So mid-song,
Mid-song,
it stops.
Stops all the way. Little girl says, "Please don't go."
Yeah.
Before I check and reverse that,
Yeah.
I hit the ground. I get on my ass. I scoot back to the studded walls. Hairs are rising everywhere. I lay on my back so I can see every direction at once. And I'm completely frozen, stiff. And I stay there. I don't make a sound.
Yeah.
You can hear me breathing,
Yeah.
sweating in my armpits. And finally, it seemed like it was forever. My boys came back. You could hear them from a distance coming,
Right.
talking in conversation. And they get into the room, and I'm startled like a wet cat in the corner.
Yeah.
And they pick me up, and they ask me what happened, and I told them what happened.
Yeah.
And it was, to this day, I can't explain it. But the next day we left. So I've always had a hard time with the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
things keep happening.
So you think that it was something that was maybe attached to you that didn't want you to leave because they wanted you there, not necessarily that warning you. Like nothing happened afterwards.
Nothing happened afterwards, but it was almost as if somebody's spirit was lost in the area and they just didn't want us to go.
Yeah.
I couldn't explain. All I know is it
That
creeped
seems
me out. Yeah.
like a perfectly rational explanation to me. That's cool.
Well, this isn't the only story you've told me about things like this. Tell me about the story about the blue lady.
Okay, so let's see here. I was a little kid, probably about, between 9 and 11. I was hanging out with my uncles, and all of my cousins. And we decided to go out back. And out back, there was a huge filbert orchard and a gigantic strawberry field.
Hazelnut.
And the next door neighbors were Russian.
You mean a hazelnut orchard?
Sure. Filbert, right? Yeah, that's what we call them, filberts here. Oregonians call them filberts. Everybody else calls them hazelnuts.
I don't know. It's interchangeable to me.
Yeah.
I just
After
like to bring that up.
Filbert the monk. He was a Trappist monk named Filbert.
Yeah.
So there we are. I'm playing with my cousin, Kyle, at the time, and he's about 5 years younger than me. Just fun enough to scare. But before that happened, we're out in the filbert orchard.
Hazelnut.
And first we have to pass over the strawberry patch. We get into it, and we get about, I'd say, 25 yards in, maybe 50. And all of a sudden, this floating blue lady with no face. She's off the ground, but not too far. It's like she's made of a dress that's see-through and blue, like moon blue. She's sitting there, and I don't know where she came from, but I turned around and I ran as fast as I could out of that filbert orchard.
Hazelnut.
But my cousin wasn't as fast. I terrified him on the way by with my screams.
Yeah.
But then I kept going. I swear he transported behind me. I never heard his feet. I heard his screams.
Yeah.
So by the time we got into the house, we were supposed to go ahead and calm down and take a shower and go to bed.
Yeah.
Well, so they put me and my cousin in the same bathtub. We're little, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
We're washing up.
How old were you again?
Oh, I was like maybe 9 or...
Okay.
Yeah, so he was like 5, 6, maybe a little older. We were just tiny.
Okay.
But so he's still scared, and there's one window, and it faces that strawberry patch and into that filbert orchard
Hazelnut.
with the moon hung high in the sky.
Yeah.
And of course, I have to tell him, "Oh look, there's the blue lady." I jump out of the bathtub, naked and wet, flip the light off, exit the bathroom, and shut the door. And moments later, I hear him screaming like it's the end of the world.
A well-played jest can be a fine thing. A little ripple in the mundane. As long as it's all in good fun, of course.
Yeah. That checks out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It checks out.
Exactly.
So you saw a full-bodied apparition, is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I...
Top to bottom, like it wasn't like faded out towards the bottom or anything?
No, it was there. And the thing is, I've always had a hard time believing in spirits and ghosts and anything like that. And so every time something like that happens, I try to explain it away. You know, maybe it was the moon reflecting off a puddle.
Yep.
I don't think there was any puddles out there.
You know what I always say? It doesn't matter if you believe in them, if they believe in you.
Yeah.
So,
I believe in the veil. The thin places, the edges where the worlds bleed into one another. It's where the true magic resides, where the mundane gives way to the marvelous and the terrifying.
All right then. I see you are in good company here. You two be right proper, or else. Now wrap whatever this is up. I'm hungry for some cold cannon butter and one of those fancy Northwest beers.
I'm glad you came to visit, Da. I'll have one of those beers with you. But first, it's time for Grandad's Spuds.
Thanks for listening. Join us next time for more uncanny chats and coffee and tea. You can find out more about us, read show notes, and get your uncanny merch at www.uncannycoffeepodcast.com. Until next time, remember,
Never whistle at night,
Keep your butt cheeks clenched when appropriate.
and above all else, remember, we are not all monsters.
Thanks to all of our listeners.
Special thanks to our executive producer,
Gracie the dog. Dr. Kitsune and Odd Bob's Uncanny Coffee Hour is produced by
Mitch Kyoto Kitsune, and
Bob Mason.
copyright protected under all laws, foreign, domestic, and supernatural by the Unseelie Court. I don't think I want that kind of thing.
Yeah, he likes to put his finger in your butt. Ghost finger. Ghost finger in your butt.
Jesus Christ.